It's time for another NBA playoff day. We've got Monday, 2 games on Monday, but let's talk a little bit about what's going on overall. As we head into Tuesday, Erik, we'll have 3 different teams trying to close things out. All 3 of them are at home. Even as we look ahead, we're going to have 3 big point spreads on Tuesday for our games to talk about. I think right now they're like 9, 11, and 12. So it looks like we could have 3 teams all close it out on Tuesday. Today, not that case quite yet. Neither of these series are in that situation where somebody can close it out. But we did get some big news overall in the world of the NBA. Injury to De'Aaron Fox. Think about how quickly and how that series has shifted. Up 2-0. Draymond's out for game 3. Feels like the Kings have a legitimate shot to go up 3-0. Then they come back, have a chance to win the game late after Steph Curry pulls a Chris Webber and calls a timeout when he doesn't have a timeout. And now we find out that Fox is hurt. He's likely doubtful for game 5. How quickly things shift, Erik. That's why you got to put teams away when you can. In the playoffs, you can't play with your food at all, right? You got to win when you can.
You have a chance to finish someone, you got to finish them. They had a good open look from Barnes. It would have been poetic if that would have gone down with how his tenure ended.
I know.
With Golden State. But, I missed it. We'll see what happens. I mean, obviously the lines are kind of priced like Fox is going to be out. But with how bad Golden State has been on the road this year.
It's not a guarantee, right? Is it a guarantee? Everyone's just assuming they're going to win. They're going to have to win at least one game on the road.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen. It would have been nice to hit that 270 money line yesterday, but, on to the day. DeJounte Murray shoving an official after he's likely going to be suspended. It didn't look like Tatum meant to shove the official. The official just kind of was there when Tatum was walking back, but still he touched the official. There should be something going on for him. For whatever reason, Quinn Snyder just isn't really comprehending matchup and minutes and keep playing a lineup that doesn't give him the best chance to win. And I'll say the same thing with Bickerstaff. Tibbs is running circles around Bickerstaff. Garland had a phenomenal third quarter, but yet he kept on running all these sets for Mitchell in the fourth, which made zero sense to me. Played Okoro a little bit more, but Okoro.
Well, Mitchell was just miserable overall. That's definitely win or lose. He's going to bounce back with a much better game. Where I was really disappointed was just I'm super high on Garland. But, man, he was just miserable on the defensive end, too. Tibbs was trying to do some different things defensively to give him a little bit more offensively because Okoro doesn't really give them that much offensively. And because he sort of felt like he's in a little bit of trouble there. I think what we're finding out is, could Bickerstaff do a few things slightly different? Yes. I think that they've just run into a team that's a little bit deeper than them. And I think, they don't have very many good options to go to right now. Brunson's just been incredible. And honestly, Julius Randle hasn't even had that great of a series. Like, there might be a good Randle game or two coming.
But what did Tibbs do?
He benched him when he had to.
He benched him. Like, we don't see Bickerstaff. We don't see Snyder benching the dudes that they need to bench. They're just
I will say most coaches wouldn't do that. And mainly because most coaches don't have the luxury of doing that. They don't have another guy like Brunson who you feel so confident in that he can run the show that you're okay with Randle, and a little bit of the gravity that Tibbs has as a coach too. So all of that, you're right. You don't see that in many situations, whether it be Bickerstaff, Snyder, or even really, really good coaches. Heck, we don't see it. We didn't see it a lot with a guy like Russell Westbrook when he was struggling, right? He didn't get taken off the floor a lot. Maybe Ham would do it in situations. And shout out again to Westbrook, who has been playing just phenomenal basketball, incredible ball. We'll talk about him tomorrow. But we're going to talk about today? 2 games, Erik. We've got your team, we've got my team, and we've also got a new promo code up at DRF Sportsbook. If you use the promo code FAST1000, you can get all the way up to a $1,000 deposit match. Sign up now. That is our promo code right here for Fast Break Bets. So thanks to our friends over at DRF Sportsbook. and we'll have direct links. If you're watching on YouTube, you can look in the description below, and you can just click the direct link, and it'll take you right there to sign up at DRF Sportsbook. So that's where we're looking as we look at the betting lines for today. We look at the first game. And Erik, the one thing in this game that I'm very surprised about, that I'm the shooting of Miami. So as we look at the lines right now at DRF Sportsbook, Miami's a 7.5-point underdog at home, plus 218. At the moment right now for DRF Sportsbook, got to be in Iowa in order to sign up. They are growing. They'll be live in other states in the coming weeks and months. But Erik, what I noticed when I was diving in, doing my rewatch and handicapping this game, so Miami, in the 3 games so far in this series, now keep in mind Giannis has been out for 2 of them. Miami is averaging 124 points per game in this series. That is the number 1 scoring offense in the playoffs of all of the teams in the playoffs. In the regular season, do you know where Miami ranked in points per game?
I'm guessing dead last.
Dead last. They were the only team in the league that averaged below 110 points per game. They averaged 109.5. Now, what's even more crazy, so in this series, it wasn't like they scored 150 and then like a couple other bad games to make the numbers a little uneven. They've scored 130, 122, 121. During the regular season, how many times did Miami score 120 points in 3 straight games, Erik?
I'm guessing 0.
0. That would be 0. You know how many times they did it in 2 straight games? Only 1.
0.
Only 1. And after that game where they score, after that two-game stretch where they scored over 120, in the next 2 games, they scored 93 and 96.
Ooh.
Just to give you an idea. This team is not a prolific offense. So they've made at least 15 threes in all 3 games. At least 15 threes in all 3 games of this series. In the 3 games so far, they've shot 59% from the field, 60% from 3, 15 made threes. Game 2, 54% from the field, 44% from 3, 16 made threes. Game 3, 54% from the field, 48% from 3, 16 made threes. During the regular season, they shot 46% from the field, which ranked 26th in the league. They shot 34% from 3, which was 27th. They were bottom 5 in points per game, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. They never scored this much at all. And now they're shooting this well in the playoffs like this. Erik, we talk about shot quality, regression. I'm just expecting a Heat poor shooting game and a bad offensive game for them. I went Heat on the team total under 106.5. That's my play for this game. I just think there's a bad game coming for as well as they've been shooting.
And we also don't know the status of Butler. Butler left the game with that.
That was a bad fall.
Like, how is that going to be looking to today? There's no real word on if he's going to be playing or not going to be playing. Does Miami do this kind of the same thing that Milwaukee does? Hey, we held serve. You know what? Let's get him fresh, because if he goes out there and plays and he gets beat up a little bit more, we're going to need him for games 5, 6, and 7. So if he doesn't play, that could go under a lot. Also, with Giannis coming back, that's going to allow the Bucks to kind of hide Brook Lopez. With no Giannis, they started Kevin Love. Kevin Love's not going to get those open 3-point looks when Giannis is out there with the drop coverage that Lopez was doing. So, yeah, you know, with Giannis playing the defensive scheme, the Bucks will be able to run now, and no Butler. I absolutely love that play.
And you got a couple in this game as well. Talk to us about Drew.
In this one, you know, just going back to the well, you know, he started out 2 for 2, then 0 for 4 the rest of the game. He just gets open looks. He give up the second most threes per game to opposing starting point guards. Looking at it in the playoffs, he's averaging 8.3 attempts per game. Just math wise, he should go over his total. Plus, with Giannis playing, this is going to open a lot more stuff up for him. He's going to get a lot more looks. He's going Giannis drive and kick. He's not going to be the second guy that the Heat are looking to stop. He's going to become the third guy that the Heat are looking to stop. He's going to get some better defensive matchups. And then my other play, I got this one early. Right now, it's still sitting at 2.5. I probably would still lock it in. I was able to get the Bucks -1 for the first quarter. Again, anything under 3, I'd probably play. Bucks were the highest scoring team in the first quarter. I expect them to come out a lot of energy after how flat they were. Also, no Butler, that could kind of knock the wind out of the sails with Miami. Plus, we've talked about it before. That arena is really flat with how late people arrive. It wouldn't surprise me if you want to do the trifecta. I know you are a horse racing guy. First quarter, halftime game, but I kind of missed the value in the game in the halftime. So I'm just doing Bucks first quarter -2.
Eric on the Bucks. I'm on the Heat team total under here. It feels like Giannis comes back, a big Bucks bounce back game. But just looking at that shooting, I feel like Miami is going to have a game or two where they just shoot poorly. They are not this good of a shooting team. They don't even have Hero right now, which is hilarious.
And that's another thing. Like with no Hero, that's gonna
Lowry is going to be forced to handle the ball more. Like
Duncan Robinson.
He's not going to play as well as he did again. No way.
No Oladipo. Yeah, they're due for some regression. Like I said, if Giannis is out there, Love's just not athletic anymore to be out there when that's going on.
That is just
a good spot for the Bucks. You want to get really spicy and put Bucks to finish the series in 6. You can also do that too.
Both of these games are same situations. The home team today up 2-1. The road team trying to tie it before they head back, right? So we've got Milwaukee trying to tie it up here, and then the second game of our doubleheader tonight, Memphis Lakers. Lakers jumped out to a big lead, punched Memphis in the face. Memphis came back a little bit late. The one thing about that game, Eric, I know you're on the Grizzlies side here, and you've got the Grizzlies all over the place, and I'll definitely let you talk a little bit about why. I like looking at all the numbers, I kind of feel the way I feel about the Lakers. We're talking about, it's like the opposite of Miami. The Lakers have only shot 27% from 3 the last 2 games. Since the All-Star break, they're shooting 37% as a team. They're 13th. They were better than Memphis shooting the 3. My one major play, I have 2 plays in this game. The first one, though, just based on principle, I'm going Ja under the 3s. Ja is not a prolific 3-point shooter. Ja is a career 32% 3-point shooter. This year, he shot 30.7% from 3. And in the 2 games he's played against the Lakers so far, he shot 6 for 10 in game 3 and 2 for 3 in game 1. So Ja is 8 for 13 from 3 so far in those 2 games. If Ja scores a bunch of points and they can't stop him, that wouldn't surprise me. But if he gets into the paint over and over and the guards have a tough time slowing him down and getting a body in front of him, that wouldn't shock me. But to see him hit a bunch of 3s again, that would surprise me a little bit, Eric, because he's not really a 3-point shooter overall. That's just not his game.
No, it's not his game at all. He's more of a slasher, get to the rim and cut it out. So yeah, I like that play. He's probably due for a little bit of regression. He was really, really pushing it last night, attacking. I played the Grizzlies, first quarter. They are the best team in the NBA, 61% against the number in the first quarter. With how bad they started the last game, I expect them to have a very concentrated effort coming out to start the game. I also played them for the game +5. Just kind of looking at it. It's not the first game that Ja comes back. The second game Ja comes back, the Grizzlies are 67% against the number. It's like he comes back, tries to do too much, and then trying to get back to a little bit of the norm. Also, it comes down to math. You mentioned the Lakers and how good they were shooting 3s. That is true, but they attempt the 26th most 3s per game. So they're not really like a team like the Bucks who are 4th in the NBA in 3-pointer attempts. They're 26th in the 3-pointer attempts. Grizzlies are 13th per 3-point attempts per game. So it's just kind of a math thing. If the Grizzlies are making 3s and the Lakers are making twos because it's just not in their offense to shoot threes, playing the bounce back. I expect Jaren Jackson to play a little bit better, so I'll play him too. And it's kind of been a seesaw. It's kind of been a seesaw when these guys have played. Like Jaren Jackson plays a good game, Anthony Davis plays a good game, Jaren Jackson, you know what I mean? They've been seesawing back and forth. I'll play the Grizzlies here plus the 5. And another thing I've noticed, I think it's over 90% of the time since 2019, the team that has won the game has covered. So what does that mean? If I like the dog here, I have to play him on the money line. You know what I mean? Because it's, that's what I'll do there. I'll play the Grizzlies plus the points and on the money line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously a Lakers fan. I'm not gonna like give the Lakers out here. I can't get. I could absolutely get to this when we go back there. I just, in watching these 3 games so far, even the 2 with Ja, even without Ja, I see Ja as a major advantage, but I don't see a whole lot of other advantages for Memphis to be able to capitalize on. And I really think the Lakers kind of have, like I said, I think their shooting can improve a little bit. They were more efficient shooting, and they were a little bit more prolific post All-Star break, right? Once they got a little bit better personnel, they have guys that are a little bit better 3-point shooters now. I think in the last couple of games, LeBron sort of struggled from 3 too. I expect him to at least hit 1 or 2. The play that I have today, they're both Grizzlies plays. One in the under for Ja, but the other was the over for Bane. He's someone who I think will start to warm up a little bit. And again, just shooting this year. He this year averaged 21.5 points per game, 41% from 3. In the 3 games this series, he's shooting 30% from 3. So him and Ja basically flip-flopped. Like, he can't hit a 3 at all. Ja's draining everything. Bane is the much better 3-point shooter overall. He had a better game in game 3. He shot 7 of 14 and then 3 of 7 from 3. So I think he probably feeling a little bit better. It wasn't like a 7 of 10 game where you feel like he'll regress off of that. It was almost like a warming back up game for Bane. So I could see him shooting a little bit better here. So a couple plays for me there. Erik's against the Lakers tonight. So obviously I'm not even going to run this broadcast, Erik. I'm just going to pull the broadcast off since you went against the Lakers right now. But one thing we will do is we'll head on over to Thrive Fantasy, and we'll take a look at a couple plays today at Thrive Fantasy. You can play in the featured NBA contest. So Thrive Fantasy is a DFS site. Think of it like if you've ever played in any big daily fantasy stuff, football contest, very similar, but this one is based all around props. Everything that you put in, it's picking a prop over or under of the set props they have. Not only do they have contests, Erik, for basketball, like we're talking about today, or baseball, or hockey, or golf, or UFC, or esports, or football when football season comes up. But one thing you and I have become really, really big fans of is the prop lobby, because we're basically putting parlays together here with props. We can parlay a couple props together, any amount from $1 all the way up to 1,000, and it pays out better than the parlay would pay in other places. A 2 prop parlay, 3.2 times your entry. If you get 3 out of 3, 5.2 times your entry. 4 out of 4, 10.2 times your entry. If you think you can hit 5 correct, you get 20.2 times your entry. And you're not forced to pick 5. You can just pick 2. You can just put a 3 team together. For someone like me who's in California, I don't get a chance to wager legally on accounts. This is awesome for me because I can play parlays with these player props, and I get better value than if I were to play them in other places.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, even for someone like me, this pays out better than what other sites use with the parlay builder. I have 3 of these. Obviously,
talk to us.
He may not even play the game. Butler,
that's one of mine right here. Yep,
under 40.5 points, rebounds, assists. He had the shooting game of his life. He was 4 for 4 from 3 last game. He's obviously due for a little bit of shooting regression, and you talked about with you after the game. Isn't 100%. How is that tailbone going to affect his shooting? He's only gone over this total once in the playoffs, and he only went over it 12 times during the regular season. for him to have any chance to go over this total, he needs 30 points. I don't think he's going to get 30 points. So my first one is Butler under the 40.5 points, rebounds, assists.
I went under 28.5 points for Butler also. Same sort of thing. He hit 4 for 4 from 3. He's banged up now. Feel like this is a situation for them. Like you said, if you come out early and Milwaukee punches you in the face, are you going to want Butler to play 40 minutes in this game and deep into this game when he's banged up? No, if you're down 20, you may just say, hey, let's pack it in. Let's wave the white flag, and then let's have him ready for a few days and have him get as rested up as possible. So I like the Butler unders as well. Let us know what's your next one, Erik. You have 3 today, so there's one.
I'm going to Memphis. I'm going to go Bane, but I'm going Bane over 3.5 assists. He went over this total 7 straight the last 7 games he played with Ja Morant. I think they're going to kind of use him a little bit more as a facilitator with that second unit.
There's going to be more attention on Ja tonight, right?
Yeah. So he's going to be able to distribute the ball a little bit more. So Desmond Bane over 3.5 assists. And my last one, you know what? I got a text message from him. He was talking a little shit to me, so I'm going to include him in this one. I'm going the X-Man. Give me Tillman over 19
look at that.
and a half points, rebounds, and assists. He's gone over this total 2 of the last 3. He's basically, it's hard with him because you can't look at his extended season because Clark and Adams are out. So you kind of have to use a little bit of a smaller sample size.
He wasn't getting the type of minutes. He's good, and he's actually played really well against the Lakers in the games without him when they played earlier this year, like towards down the stretch. Like he's solid. He's very, very solid. He's the type of guy who he's just not as talented as Anthony Davis, but he's definitely like he's got a good energy. He's got a good motor, and he's going to make you work always. Like this is a good bounce back spot for him.
Great bounce back spot for him. And it's only 19.5. We just look at his average. You should go over that. He's been getting 10 to 11 rebounds every single game. If you really want to feel spicy, he's 3-1 to have a double-double. Maybe throw a little bit on that. If you're feeling it, it didn't make my betting card, but I think he goes over this 19.5, and I use it in my correct lineup.
And my other play today, I just went Ja the under on points. It was 28.5 as we were discussing. I think that Ja, I think the Lakers will come out as Ja was very good in the end of that game. And Ja, they probably feel like, let's make the other guys beat us. Right? Yeah. Like, let's not let Ja beat us because Ja has had a 28-point quarter against the Lakers earlier this year. Ja scored 22 points straight the other day. I think the Lakers will try Vanderbilt on him early like they did, throw an extra guy at Ja, get the ball out of his hands, make the other guys hit big shots and beat you. Sort of why I played Bane, warming up a little bit. You're hoping Tillman could get a couple looks where he's just one-on-one or has maybe an easy look at the basket. So, couple plays for us tonight, and we will be here with you each and every night. That's it for you too, right? You're all those are all 3 of your plays?
Correct.
So we remind you some of the sponsors of this show. DRF Sportsbook. Make sure to head there and use that promo code FAST1000. If you are in Iowa, go right now and sign up. You'll get a really, really great deposit bonus. And in other states, we'll let you know as soon as they are live and running, so you can use that promo code and you can sign up. And in most states, you can sign up and play Thrive Fantasy. States like California and Texas, where you can't wager legally on sports betting, you can play these player props, and these player props have better value than if you were to play parlays in other places. You can get involved in that $20 entry game as well. It's a big contest. Always use the promo code Gino, Gino, at Thrive Fantasy. It'll get you a match deposit from $25 up to $250. Erik, buddy, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, let's go Fear the Deer.
Fear the Deer. And, man, I cut off the back part of this stream when Erik starts talking about the Grizzlies and how he's betting them money line. You can play the +5. I don't mind. You can even play the first quarter and the first half, but get that money line out of here. Get that money line out of my face. Folks, we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be back every Monday through Friday, 5 Pacific time, 2 Eastern time. and we'll get you set up for every single NBA game. Then on Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Big thanks to Erik for all his hard work, and we'll see you again, folks, tomorrow talking more NBA.